Hello there, YouTube fans. Here again. And yep, I'm in the shop today, about to open it. But it's not about the shop. It's not about updates. So in a way, so I made a mistake there. It's an update. Now, remember, I'm doing the DC comic films at the moment, and people might love me, they might hate me, but there's lovers, there's haters, there's this, there's that. I don't hate DC, so I get some people stood side who are DC fans. I don't hate Marvel, but to be honest, I'm more of a DC person, even though what I've just said, right? So I'm not a lover, I'm not an hater, right? But I'm not one of them who could go, yay, DC Comics, yay, Spider-Man, yay, the Incredible Hulk, yay, Superman, and all this. I'm not one of them. Not because I'm a man, because let's be all honest and open and honest here, I meant to say. Let's all be open and honest that men don't grow up. Men don't grow up. Men are still kids. See, I'm being open on myself here. Men are still big kids at heart, and I'm a big kid, right? Yeah, I'll still watch the Superman. At the moment, I'm reviewing the Superman. I'm not being a Superman with Christopher Reid, only because I like Christopher Reid as an actor. May he rest in peace. And only as entertainment. I'm watching them as a kid. I'm watching them as an entertainment. Like in real life, there's not a real Freddy Krueger. In real life, men do not fly in the air, rip the shirt off, turn into Superman, go into a telephone box, which you can't now because there's not a lot of phone boxes about. A lot of people use mobiles. But go into a phone box, turn into fucking Superman and go do 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 and fly in the air. They don't do it. And there's not in real life, there's no Batman. And if I get Andy, I'm not going to go Gene and turn into a Gene monster and call myself Gene Terrible Hulk. I watching it as entertainment. That's what I'm getting at. In real life, that wouldn't happen. So in real life, being a realist, I'm watching it because it's entertainment. It's entertainment, right? Now, get on to what I'm about to say. So yeah, I'm reviewing the Superman films. As I already said that I think the original is a classic. The second one, an unestimated sequel. The third one, I'm going to offend because a lot of people shit on Superman 3. So when I review it, I'm going to offend it. But it's not about this today. It's about the Batman films and all to do with Batman and what I think about Batman. Now I'm going to start from the comic books. People might love me or hate me. I've never read them. But I've heard a lot of history about Batman. I say that again. I've heard a lot of history about Batman comic books that they were out of firing when they first come out. You had Batman shooting people. You had him fucking starring people and burning people. You torturing people, the bad guys to get information. I told us in the TV era, that era from the 40s and 30s, they couldn't do that. So when they got into the 1940s, the first one would be in 1944. They did what they call a cinema serial, where every week they had like an episode, like they did with Fast Gordon, and it had a shift ending, and you had to go to the theatre to see part two, and then the week after you had to go to the theatre to see part three, and that's how they did it. So they tried to keep it faithful to the comic book. You had Robin, you had Batman, it was in black and white, and you see him running about, and you had a rating to next serial, and that lasted for a number of days in the 40s. Then when they got to 1948, they had two different actors playing Batman and Robin, and they sort of brought that serial out again in the late 40s, that being 1948. Again, it went on a number of days to the 50s. Didn't really rub off as well in the 50s, and they ended the serial. A lot of things were coming out more on theatre. There was TV at that time was coming out, so not a lot of people watched programs or mini-series, I should say, in the theatre. So then you got to the 60s, different era, different time. You see in colour, you had Adam West play Batman. You had Robin, you had Batman, and in all fairness, yeah, it was Tampa. In all fairness, I remember watching Batman the movie, the 60s one from 1966, and it was laughable. It's a good comedy. It is a good comedy. It made me laugh, but I don't think it was supposed to be a comedy, and that's what made it more funny. It was Tampa. Even Adam West, may he rest in peace, would agree with me that when he looked at it over the days, he's like that. Every time he sees himself, not because we all don't want to see ourselves when we were in that heyday, but it's the fact it's so tamper. When he sees himself back in that golden era, this is Adam fucking West. And again, that lasted in 1966, going on to 1968, into, sadly to say, the worst network ever, that being the ABC, removed it because it was going down in ratings. So, yeah, I mean, you had cartoon series, bought out comic books, you had reruns of the Batman, the 60s ones, the 40s ones. You had other things to do with Batman, even cartoons, should I repeat myself, right? It was only when you got into the late 80s, that being 1989, they bought out the movies of Batman. A bit of history there. They bought out the movies. So this is what I'm going to talk about. This is what's in the shop. I've already got Batman and Batman Return. I never bothered with the other ones, and I'm going to say why. Right? This is Batman. Now, first of all, this is the worst packaging going. You know why? It's got a photo of George Clooney. Now, before people say, oh, you like George Clooney, hear me out. I've got nothing against George Clooney, but in all fairness, he was the worstest Batman. I like him as an actor. I just said I don't know against him. But George Clooney was miscast. He was miscast, and I'll get onto that in a rant. So that was the worstest covering to have that. Number 2, I went through that. There's no features. All of them were bid hits, bid possesses, even the ones I didn't like by Schumacher. And the shit packaging, no features, so chat shit. But I'm going to go on about every film, and then I'll go on in more depth. Now, I already did Batman. 1989, should I say anything else about Batman? It was a bid hit. I'd done actors like Jim Bassenter. In all fairness, and I will say this, in all fairness, Tim Burton is a good director. He's a good director, you know what I mean? Yes, he's a good director. I mean, that's it. Tim Burton to me is a damn good director. You got Jack Nicholson and Michael Keaton. How can I forget his fucking name? The star himself, Batman. Duh, you know. Michael Keaton, in my eyes, was a better Batman. He was a better Batman, you know what I mean? And it was really was a good film. It was horrifying. It was more faithful to the comic books. It was dark. I loved the way Tim Burton did Batman. Saw it, thought it was brilliant. It was a big success. That was Batman. Then you got Batman The Return, an unestimated sequel. And I admit, over the years, I wasn't a lover of Batman The Return. I know, same on me. I just thought it was overrated. I thought it was this. I thought it was that. That's how I saw it originally, for people to do me any hate letters. But then over the years, it's going on me. It's going on me. I think it's got a good cast of actors. Again, you've got Michael Keaton as Batman, a good director, that being Tim Burton. You've got Michelle Pfeiffer, looks really hot as Catwoman. And you've got them all. You've got them all. You know what I mean? You've got the Penguin himself. And it really is a damn good, worth it sequel. It's not really a sequel. When you think about it, it's not a sequel. Batman The Return is its own movie. I know originally they was going to call it Batman 2. But I'm only happy they altered the pan and they called it Batman The Return, because I think it's a worthy sequel. Then you get the one what is sort of okay, but it would have to be a rant and a review if I did it. Again, nothing against Val Kilmer. Val Kilmer is not the problem, and I said that before. What the problem is, and it's nothing against Schumacher, the director. May he rest in peace. I know he died a couple of weeks and months ago now, and it's very sad. And I'm not speaking ill of him. He's done some good films. I've said so. The Lost Boys, Fall Down, good films. The list goes on. But even flipping Schumacher admitted that it was not a good film. Even he admitted over the years that they were not good films. And that's the director, by the way, I'm on about. That was the problem, is Schumacher wanted to make it more for kids, and he wanted to make it tamper like the 60s. So it doesn't work. Doesn't gel. You're trying to make it tamper and trying to make it like the 1960s when you're going now into the mid-90s does not work. And the reason why, because when Batman The Return come out, McDonald's were whinging because families were moaning about the toys being out of fire. Number 1, Batman was a 15, wasn't made for kids. Number 2, Batman The Return was definitely not made for kids. And they didn't like it, so they tried to make it kiddie friendly, and it just doesn't work. And it fucking souls, it doesn't work. It's champy, it's finger. And what's so heartbreaking is, Originally, it was going to be done by Tim Burton because Warner Brothers did him shit. They shouldn't make another one because it being out of fire and they wanted Schumacher to do it. I saw the original ideas what Tim Burton was going to do for Batman Forever. I saw the original ideas and it's heartbreaking it was never used. But you find out more about that when it's a review and rant. But the worstest one, the most horrendous one, has to be Batman and Robin. I'm not going to call it Batman and Robin. There's only one. That's the 60s so, unless you go into the 40s. Batman and Robin is horrendous. It's horrendous. Anna, his cheesy lines are horrendous. If I want to see Arnie be a bad guy, I'll just watch him in the original Exterminator. Poison Ivy, there's a little set there, but if I want to see her with her boobs out, I'll just watch Jason Raisins. Or I'll watch her getting bonked by Robert De Niro in a film, what they did. In this, if I want to see her as a badass, I'll just watch her in Kill Bill, Volume 1, Volume 2. Batgirl, yes, it's high-handed, it's nice to look at, but in all fairness, when Batgirl come into the series, no one's come into it. The third series in 1968, and they only bought Batgirl in it. Nobody tends to the actress that she's no longer with us, Maisie West. She only bought her in it because the series was going downhill, so they thought we'd bring a bit of eye-tan there for the longer male audience to try and bring ratings up. Obviously, it didn't work because it too went off fucking air. So why the fuck did they bring Batgirl in it? Too many characters, they tried to make it too much like the 60s, so too tamper, too everything. Batman and Robin fucked up the fan size. They never made another one. They had to do a prequel. They had to do a new sort of reboot, that being Batman the Beginning. But I was just going to talk about some of them at the moment. I might talk about them at a later date, but that's how I feel about them. Other than that, though, it's nothing personal in people who are Batman fans. It's only my opinion. It's how I see things. To me, I prefer Batman. Prefer Batman The Return. Yeah, I can watch the 60s so with Adam West, Mae West, as Tampy, cheesy time waster, and just for a good laugh. I can watch the 40s one as a good bit of history of what serial TV shows were like from that era. Comic books, I may have never read them. I'm not a comic book person, I admit. And people go, oh, you don't like DC comic. Rewind back what I just said. Other than that is what I think about Batman. I just thought I'd let people know how I feel about Batman. I like them, but I'm not a super fucking mad fan of them. I like Superman, but I've never read the comic books. And I just prefer the ones with I prefer the ones with Christopher Reid, I meant to say. I prefer the ones with Christopher Reid. Other than that, everyone, I'll let people know a bit more about Batman. I'll go on about them as soon as I've done the Superman films into them. Be smart, be safe, and I'll see you soon.